of the Daughters of the American Revolution, I was pleased to nominate a devoted Revolutionary War patriot, Dr. John Cochran, who distinguished himself as a physician with the rank of Surgeon General for recognition by the Oneida County History Center. Dr. Cochran quickly gained the confidence of George Washington after their first meeting in 1775. He displayed a deep devotion to the cause of independence and a commitment to duty. He personally attended to both George and Martha Washington and was specifically asked to care for Martha when she fell ill. When Lafayette's leg wound at the Battle of Brandywine would not stop bleeding, he was asked by Washington to come to the rescue and is credited by Lafayette for saving his life. Not only did he oversee the administration of the smallpox inoculations from Trenton to Valley Forge, but also designed large-scale treatment plans and standards that increased the effectiveness of the inoculation. Benjamin Rush described him as possessing humanity as well as skill, and dear to all who knew him. His family chose to locate his final resting place right here in Utica, and he is buried at historical Forest Hill Cemetery with his wife Gertrude, where this certificate will be kept. Thank you to the Oneida County History Center for honoring his contributions.
It's my honor to call up Bill Gaetano, son of Charles A. Gaetano, to accept his award. My father was a visionary. He saw things that people didn't see, especially my brothers and I. Dad, why are we buying that building? Oh, it's got an elevator. Yeah, but Dad, well, we always lost, okay? And I always said, people would ask me, how to describe your father? Where angels feared the thread, Charlie Gaetano was there. He was a risk taker. And in the construction side, we're risk takers. And he always told me, you do what's right. And he said, our name is on it. And he said, if it ain't right, you make it right. And we've lived by that till today. Our name is on it, we always make it right. And again, my father was a very proud man. He cared for his family. He cared for his community. He cared for his church. And I would like to accept this award on behalf of myself and my family, all the siblings that are here. Thank the society for this award. Thank you. This next one should be really good. I'd like to call up Franklin Siaka to accept for the Potato Godfather, Chauncey Goodrich. Look at this shirt. Respect the potato.
Well, all I can say is the potatoes you enjoyed this evening were thanks to Reverend Chauncey Goodrich, created right here in Utica, New York. Enough said. So thank you very much to the History Center for honoring our great Utica hero.
And now, accepting for Carolyn Kelly Tyler, living legend Robbie Dancing.
I didn't know Miss Tyler personally. My mother did. But some of her students are here from Potter School when she taught them. A couple of them are here. One's sitting at that table, maybe two. One's sitting at my table. I know one or two. And she did a lot for the community. She was a community person. She passed away when she was 37 years old from cancer. So she didn't have any children or anybody, but she did so much for adults and children. And she was just a wonderful community person who put herself in the community, and her church too, just like you spoke about your other person. She was in her church because she was an organist in a church. She taught music, And like I said before, she was the first black teacher at Potter School. Many of you probably don't know where Potter School is, do you? I know you don't. You know where the Nexus Center is? That building down there that used to be a club or something like that, that was Potter School. That's where all my ethnic group went to that school. But we thank you, the Historical Society, for presenting this to Mrs. Tyler, and I'm going to take that award to Hope Chapel Church because that was her family too. So I'll take it to her pastor there.
All right, now we're going to recognize some of our new living legends. The moment we've all been waiting for. We begin with Mike Bosak. Mike, wait. You can stand. Oh, you want? All right. Well, then they won't clap that way, you know. All right, Mike, come on. You ruined the whole thing. But I love him, and I can't say anything. No, come on. Mike, for the past 30 years, you have been one of the most passionate and dedicated members of the Landmark Society of Greater Utica. Throughout your involvement, you have helped and in many cases led the way to protect and save some of our area's most iconic structures. You have become one of our area's foremost preservation advocates, and you have literally taken thousands of us on your famous walks and talks that continuously introduce people to many of our area's secret treasures. When I served my stint as president of the Landmarks, I leaned on you a lot, and you gave sage and welcomed advice and guidance, and I'll forever be grateful for your dedication to preserving the past for the future generations to learn from and to enjoy. It's my pleasure to call you a living legend. Mike Bosak.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Oneida County History Center. Rebecca told me to keep this under 20 minutes, so I'll do my best to do that. And sometimes it's nice to be at the beginning of the alphabet. All right, greetings, Oneida County History Center members, trustees, fellow living legend nominees, fellow landmarkers. I'm humbled to be considered among these very worthy class of 2024 inductees. This nomination serves as an answer to my friends who have called me a legend in my own mind. Looking at the list of previously inducted living legends, it reads like a who's who of people that I've admired and have considered to be mentors for as long as I can remember. Frank Presbyson, Joe Kelly, Frank Tomeno, Joe Bottini, Stash Babiash, and Virginia Kelly, and so many more. When I first received the email from Rebecca, it stated that it was a confidential matter, and I said, oh no, what did I do now? My second thought was, I hope my membership is still valid. The idea of being a living legend had crossed my mind briefly, you know, when you walk through the Hall of Fame in the History Center, but then it goes out of your mind. When I got the call, quite frankly, I was shocked. No one was more surprised than I. Even now, it feels somewhat surreal. When I joined the Landmark Society as a volunteer, I never dreamed that I would still be involved some 30 years later. But the Landmark Society was and is a perfect fit for my vocation of architecture and my avocation of historic preservation. Architecture is built physical and functional art, and historic structures are not only that, but they give us a sense of place. They are good for the soul and need to be preserved for future generations whenever possible. Demolition of some of these structures, like the Stanley Theater or Union Station, would be tantamount to taking a painting off of the wall of the Munson Art Museum and smashing it to bits. Of course, not all old buildings are historic or museum quality, and you cannot save them all. But we must be judicious when demolition is being considered because you can never get them back. Some of you may know that I'm a music guy, the professor to Dr. Jerry Krause's Doctor of Rock. Not, of course, to the caliber of the esteemed Doc Woods, but I do love jazz. There is an appropriate song that I've loved for many, many years, and it's by Carly Simon. And no, it's not You're So Vain. Although there's some that would consider that to be appropriate. No, it's called A Legend in Your Own Time. It's a lovely and haunting song. And the refrain ends with the line, "But a legend is only a lonely boy when he goes home alone." Well, I thank Almighty God that I don't have to be that lonely boy, because I have my wonderful partner and wife, Penny, to go home with. For over a quarter century, she has been my rock, my muse, my better half, and the absolute love of my life. So without her, I may or may not have achieved this landmark award, but I have to say that I absolutely must share it with her tonight. I'm very, very lucky. In closing, yay! I look back at my childhood growing up in the New York Mills, proud of my Polish heritage, thankful for my parents, my family, and my friends, all of which and whom contributed to the inspiration for my passion for art, for historic preservation and adaptive reuse, and those curious, spooky, abandoned mansions up there on the hill in New York Mills. It's also fueled my love for the city of Utica and the county of Oneida. Landmarks, in my opinion, is the best not-for-profit organization on the planet, Oneida County History Center notwithstanding, with amazing members who I think the world of. We are celebrating our 50th anniversary this year with a gala on October 25th at the Stanley. I like to think that I've contributed at least a little bit to that remarkable accomplishment. As I look around this room, I see a lot of potential future living legends. Hopefully, we will see one or more of you up here next year. I've always tried to make things better than the way I found them, so if I've somehow been able to inspire, educate, inform, and perhaps even entertain you, and I guess I've done my job. Thank you all very much.
Over the past few years, I have come to know and admire Lucretia Hunt, and more importantly, call her my friend. Lucretia does more in a week than most people do that are half her age. She sits on countless boards, spends her weekends volunteering at Mother Mary Ann's West Side Kitchen, and still works 3 days a week in Assemblywoman Button-Sean's office. She literally does not know how to sit still. Lucretia is not one you say no to. I know that for a fact. Ask any politician or community leader in this room, and you know that too. From the day we met, I have always learned it is best just to say, "Yes, Lucretia," when she asks something. And to be honest, I think I really am afraid to say no. For her decades of work for women's equality, I'm paying you a compliment here. For her decades of work for women's equality and education for all, and yes, even for her strong desire to elect a Democrat always, for any office anywhere. It is now time we call this East Utica icon exactly what she is, a living legend. Lucretia Bosak.
Thank you. Stay right here, because I may need you.
Oh, okay.
Boy, what a send-off. Don't disappear. Mary Ann knows that too. Okay, first of all, hang on to this thing. I'm back in school. Okay. First of all, let me thank the committee, the Historical Society, and all of you for this wonderful honor bestowed upon me. I am truly humbled. I mean that. I am truly humbled and honored to be chosen among all these wonderful people that are here, that have come before me, and that are sharing this honor with me. When I got this thing, I pondered what was a legend.
I went to the dictionary and Google, okay? And you know, I'm not crazy about computers, but they're here to stay. The dictionary more or less said, someone who has created unforgettable impression that touches many lives and remembered as charitable and inseparable. A role model who leaves a lasting impression. Wow! For me, I do what I do because it is right and just. And my parents are saying, do it! In 2022, you honored my mother, Beatrice Durant DeSantis, into the Historical Hall of Fame. A true legend. My mother was a legend, believe me. In East Utica, you really have to stand up and fight for what you believe in. I'm proud to follow in her footsteps. Big steps to fill. But my parents, Vic and B. DeSantis, were trailblazers in the community. They were, especially in East Utica and in the Italian area. That's where I grew up. They taught us, my late brother, attorney Mike DeSantis, and my late sister Carmela Catera. Carmela was a science teacher, and we were taught to help others. That was it, okay? They worked hard to establish themselves, yet to share. They loved Utica, Bleecker Street, and East Utica. I'm still on Bleecker Street, and I'm not going anyplace. I live in my mother's house. My home was built around Civil War, and it's still standing, thank God, okay? For my life has been a long and interesting one. You all know that I'm old. I have seen the sunshine, I have seen the snowfall, the flowers bloom, and yet I continue. I'm here for some reason. Don't ask me, but I'm here. My brother Mikey and Carmela excelled in everything they did. And my father used to say, for Lucretia, I have to buy the school. For some reason, I was a late bloomer, but I did survive. I made the dean's list. I think it was the president's list once at school. He said to me before he died, I knew you could do it. You just took your time. So, this award that I'm receiving tonight, it isn't just for me, but my family and all the organizations that I belong to. And you're all here, and I hope I don't miss one. Okay? You people made me, my clubs, my things that I belong to. I look around and I see the many friends from the organizations that I belong. You created me. I didn't create myself. It's because of everything that we did together and what we believe in. This is our country, and we need to make it survive. And this is our city and our county. Okay, first I'm going to start, Joanne, with the Daughters of Columbus. That doesn't even exist anymore. That organization was 100 years old. That started us when we were kids in East Utica, especially the women. You belong to the Daughters. Then the Sons of Italy. And the Italian American, where Joanne Campbell, where are you with the group there from that club, right? That's our other group. And Joanne listens to me too. I don't know why, but she does, all right? Okay, let me see where I am over here. Okay, right here. Okay, the League of Women Voters. Where are you, ladies? Come on, I see you over there. This is another group. I have many facets to my life. I go from one extreme to the other, but for some reason, they're all there and they mesh together. That's what you need. Okay? the Democrat Women's Club. Ladies, come on, where are you? Carrie? Okay, my other one. And the Parkway Seniors. Kelly, did you leave? Where's the Parkway Seniors? All right. I belong to the city master plan. We helped recreate the city. I can't even remember how long that one was. And my dear friends at Municipal Housing, where are you over there? MHS, there we are, all these groups. And the Office of the Aging. Tony, you appointed me twice, okay? So you see all of these together, all right? Now, Home Ownership Center, I don't know if anyone came tonight, but that was another one, all right? And the Neighborhood Watch. You wouldn't believe we fought crime. Yes, I did, okay? We had drugs and absentee landlords. I remember one day I had this poster to put up that used to say, if you saw anything with drugs, call City Hall. I had two poles, one at my backyard and one on the Bleecker Street side. I went with a hammer and the nail and I hung that up. I went to do the one on the Bleecker Street side. By the time I got in my backyard, that one was gone, so you can imagine what was around. And the absentee landlords that we shut down, I cannot tell you. I'm going back in the 80s and the 90s when all of this took place. There was one other thing I was going to say. It'll come back to me.
The Yankees are on the
Okay. And we did all of these. There was my friends Grace and Jimmy and Craig Grant. We did all of this because the people needed help and we had to do it.
Wait, go back. You learned to shoot?
What did I forget? Okay, yeah. With the, actually.
Who allowed her to have a gun?
Yes,
Tony, you gotta fire that guy.
you better be careful. Okay, they took it from the Home Ownership Center and we did all these things. This was fighting crime. I didn't know. All I know was we just went and did. My poor father was sick. They were sitting on the stoop downstairs in my house and selling drugs. So all of a sudden we got involved in this and there I am, the crime fighter on Bleecker Street.
With a gun.
Almost.
Oh dear.
Okay, so they took us one time up to Griffiths Air Force Base, and they taught us to do crime scenes. They gave us a gun and actually taught us to shoot little Grace and Denise and me, and there we are, and we had to figure this out. They put bullets in them. Whether they were real, I don't know. But I learned to shoot. Not good, but I did, okay? Me, all right? Okay, I think I should kind of stop here because I might forget some of these organizations I belong to. First of all, as I said, I didn't do it alone. You believed in me, and I'm grateful. This award belongs to all of you. Everything I belong to, every club I belong to, you guys don't say no to me. You say, well, let's hear what you have to say. Marianne especially, she knows not to say anything. Right, Marianne? Okay. Now, in Puerto Rico, which you know that I lived in Puerto Rico for 11 years. My husband, we were all Americans, had a business there. I taught school there, I had a radio show there, and I learned to speak Spanish, so I have become bilingual, and my daughter Cindy also, right Cindy? I raised her there and then brought her home. She's not sure what she is, okay? But she's an American. Okay, from Puerto Rico it started, and now I have time to travel all over. This year we went to Italy, Holland, and Norway. And my dear friends Karen and Michael travel the best in the business, okay? You go with them, you have no problem. And Michael takes care of everything. He doesn't get mad at me. He says, all right, Lucretia, let's do it, and we do. Right, Karen? Okay. Now this year we're planning to go all the way from Greece to Egypt. I want to go to the pyramids before I die.
Okay.
Right? So I can. Okay, another thing, and
You're going to miss it if you don't hurry up, though.
Shut up. This is what we go through at the board
Every
meeting,
day.
right? In my spare time, I volunteer, and I'm at Assemblywoman Mary Ann's office. She's my adopted daughter, right, Mary Ann? Okay? And he also called me her godmother. I love that. Okay, she says I write well and I see things differently, okay? And I can't go away during election, okay? I have to say. So Karen, you've got to adjust that again because last year you screwed me up, okay? Okay, so at the weekend, I do Mother Mary Ann's kitchen. Come on, people, where's Mother Mary Ann? You're all here. Come on, let them see you. We take care of the people in need. We feed them. We're there. Helen, right there. Lisa, okay? And the group over there. We all work at the kitchen. Okay, I'm very proud to share this evening with my family and Cindy and a few of, my daughter came up from DC, my daughter and granddaughter. Now, I don't have a big family, but I do have a family. My niece Dawn, attorney Dawn Lupe, and my nephew Damien Katera, teacher. All right. Now, I have an adopted family too, okay? And besides my cousin Roanne DeStito and Bernadette, these are my family, right? And now I have my adopted family. Annette, who came all the way from, where were you, in Spain, okay? Jeff, little guy, and Joey, okay? You're all here. And Mary Ann and Don Muttenshawn, my adopted family. These are my kids, okay? Now, as I said, I have a lot of kids. I only had one child, Cindy, but I have a lot of kids. Tony, you're one of them, okay? I don't think Bob Kelly got here. Did Bob make it?
No.
Okay. Mayor Robbie, are you still here?
No, he left.
He left too, okay? Okay. Maciel and Noonan, Bob, Tony Pacenti, you're all here. And this one right here, he's another one of my kids. And Wayne, where are you, Wayne? There's another one. It goes on. I call them my kids. And they don't dare say no to me. I'm almost done.
Dear
Keep
God.
quiet. Okay. And my dear friend Joanne Longo.
He fell asleep.
Joanne and Bob, all right? All of you have created my life. A person does not do it alone. They do it all. I am proud of my time in education, from teaching at MVCC and over 30 years at BOSI's, assisting people with their GED. You have no idea how tough I was. And I taught newcomers to our country. I was one of the first ESOL instructors hired for all of this. People to speak, read, and write English. This was part of it. I often run into someone who says, I remember you. You taught me my English. You helped me get my GED. My life well spent. And it makes me feel good. My parents taught us to love our country, respect others, work hard, help others, and be good. I know I've talked a lot, but when you're a legend, what else do you expect, right? Oh, I'm almost done.
She really is.
I'm almost done. In closing, I will say the same when you honored my mother. My father thanks you, my mother thanks you, my brother thanks you, and my sister thanks you. My daughter and my granddaughter thank you. God bless the United States of America. We must always keep it free. We cannot let this go. God bless the city of Utica and Oneida County. And thank you for this great honor bestowed upon me. I am forever grateful. And this honor
Great job.
before I break my
Dr.
leg.
Kelberman.
Where is he? There he is.
A heart specialist with a heart of gold is how I would describe Dr. Kelberman. Dr. Michael Kelberman is an acclaimed physician who has devoted himself to service to the sick, service to those with special needs, and service to his community. I did not know Dr. Kelberman before tonight, but I have a nephew with special needs, and it makes the work of the doctor and his wife Jennifer truly warm my heart, every pun intended. Nearly 20 years ago, Dr. Kelberman, along with Jennifer, founded the Kelberman Center in our area. This sorely needed state-of-the-art facility has assisted families as they navigate the scary world of autism. The Kelbermans have made understanding this condition less scary and easier to understand while educating people on how to work with those who have it. For these reasons and for so many more, it's truly my honor to name Dr. Michael Kelberman a 2024 Living Legend.
Hold it for you? Oh, okay, all right.
Well, that's not going to be an easy act to follow. But such is the randomness of alphabetical order, Lou. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, really, to the Historical Center for extending what is really a gracious honor to me this evening, and congratulations to all of the other honorees. And I have to admit, the appellation of this particular award, Living Legend, is imposing, to say the least. And I don't know how easy it is to live up to. I know it's a challenge. I'm delighted to report that I have reached this evening in good form, thereby satisfying the first part of the award, the living. The second portion is a little dicier and a little bit more debatable. Legend is a tough appellation to live up to. However, I accept this honor with great humility, and it's much appreciated. When you receive an award like this, inevitably, your mind drifts towards reflection. And for me, I can't help but think back on my first steps, my first years, filled with uncertainty, not knowing completely if what I was doing was the right path, the path that I wanted. My family background wasn't unusual for mid-20th century America. My father's parents escaped from Eastern Europe. They escaped persecution. They came over as teenagers to America. My grandfather became a master carpenter and furniture maker in Lower Manhattan, raising his family ultimately in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I'm here to tell you that there is no genetic basis to carpentry skills or home skills. My wife would back that up. I have absolutely none of those skills. My father met my mother, who was from Utica, ostensibly on a blind date. I never really got to the bottom of that story, but that's the story. Our early family life was in New York City. My parents made the wise decision to move upstate and relocate to Utica, a decision my father told me was one of the best of his life. So I'm a product of Utica, born and raised here, and very proud to have been able to return to Utica, raise my family here, and try and contribute to its success. When I looked through the list of previous honorees, it was very humbling. And I tried to look at the list and figure out what were some of the common themes and characteristics that distinguish them. And the one thing that stood out, and it's been repeated many times tonight, was their love for the area and their love for the melting pot of people that have really given our home one of its great distinguishing features. And for most of the previous honorees, it really wasn't competency, it wasn't credentials, it wasn't creativity that stood out to me. It was their commitment, it was their concern, it was their compassion, and it was their love for the area. And that's why it's really such an honor for me to stand in front of you today. As I mentioned earlier, we're never really sure if the path we're taking is the right one. But in retrospect, I have to tell you, I was never going to be anything but a doctor. When I returned to Utica in 1992 to start my career as a cardiologist, I was determined to bring the highest level of skill and professionalism to our area. As a medical specialty that was just exploding at the time, I knew how important it was for the success of people living here and the success of our area. I took the delivery of great healthcare personally, one patient at a time and one day at a time. Unfortunately, I was able to share the journey and the commitment with my partners and colleagues at Central New York Cardiology. To me, it's always been taking care of patients is a privilege. I've always been humbled that patients trust me to make some of the hardest decisions of their lives. It brings tremendous pride to myself and all of my colleagues that 4 decades of effort have resulted in the largest remaining independent cardiology group in New York State, with almost 45,000 patients covering 5 counties, able to recruit from the best training programs in the Northeast, and best of all, we now call our home a beautiful 100,000 square foot state-of-the-art office building contributing to the revitalization of downtown Utica. My father spent his whole working career driving and working in downtown Utica, and he would have loved it. Last but not least, I have to mention my family, both my immediate family and my more extended family related to autism. My wife Jennifer, who unfortunately couldn't be here due to other commitments that were long-standing, has been my confidant, my advisor, my partner, and the mastermind behind whatever I've accomplished. In fact, the only thing she really hasn't helped me with is my golf game. Although I have to tell you, she told me to buy new clubs last year, and I cut a couple strokes off, and she was right again. So there you have it. About the time we returned to Utica to start our practice, we came back together. We were blessed with 2 beautiful girls, Emily and Caroline, and it wasn't long after that that our son Harrison followed. And at that point, things took a dramatic turn for us as a family. By the time my son turned 2, he was diagnosed with autism, and Jennifer and I were introduced to a completely unfamiliar world, a world with an uncertain future and no clear path forward. Autism was relatively unknown at that time. It was the mid-1990s, and we were going to have to make a decision. We would either relocate and get what our son needed and our family needed, or we would take on the task of creating what we needed and what other families needed right here at home. We chose the latter, and the story of that now 25-year-old saga would take up the rest of the evening. But life works in strange ways. You never know what twist or turn is around the next corner. We couldn't imagine our life without all the amazing children, families, and staff that we've been privileged to meet, and our sense of purpose has never been greater. I've learned so many things over the years, but one thing I know for sure, you'll never approach your goals, you'll never get where you want to get without surrounding yourself with talented, skilled, and compassionate people. And we continue to build an amazing team at our Autism Center, and I can tell you the best is yet to come. We're here at Lucky Table 13. We've got 5 of our amazing staff members from Kelberman Center, and 3 of our board members, all well-known in the community, Dr. Contreras, Bruce Daniels, Frank Belmer. We've got a committed board of just people who've embraced the passion and embraced the mission, and it makes all the difference in the world. It's always given me great satisfaction, great gratification, how thrilled families are when they find that not only can they get the attention and the help they need locally, but that they felt they were getting the best. It gives them not only hope, it gives them a lot of pride. So I'll come full circle, back to the beginning of this honor, the so-called, living legend. I still think the best part is the first part, the living. Our area is undergoing a renaissance. Our city's had a complete facelift. Our healthcare system's undergone a metamorphosis. Our autism center continues to grow and help more and more people who need our support and services. No, there's no doubt in my mind, the living is the best part of all this. A lot left to do. I'm very humbled. Thank you very much.
Bonny Niles is one of the most dedicated local historians in our county. Her tireless work in chartering and growing the Town of Paris Historical Society, along with her work preserving the town's history as its historian for over 2 decades, is emblematic of the amazing person she is. Another wonderful friend I can never say no to. Bonnie is a go-to resource for those who want to know about Sequoia, Bridgewater, and Chadwicks, and is a valued advisor to me as a trustee on the Oneida County Historians Association. Her dedication to the Mohawk Valley Christian Women's Club for the past half-century has helped that group thrive, while others have folded. And through her efforts, hundreds of people have heard God's message at the group's monthly luncheons. For her selfless work in keeping the Town of Paris Historical Society vibrant, her tireless work in preserving local history, and her dedication to spreading the message of the Lord, it is a real honor to call Bonny Niles what she truly is, a living legend.
Well, thank you, everyone, and good evening. I want to thank Joe Bottini, Lou Parada, Mary Hayes Gordon, and the board and the staff at the Oneida County History Center for this honor. When I received a call from the executive director, Rebecca McLean, I was so surprised to hear that I was considered for this award. I asked her, "What is this about?" What are you talking about? Rebecca explained what the award was for, and I asked her, "Well then, what do I do?" She said, "You just accept it." So I very humbly accept this award, and I very much appreciate your recognition of my work and all of the support. I also appreciate all those who came before us at the Town of Paris Historical Society who preserved our town's history and have passed it on to us. It's especially gratifying to receive this award tonight at the Irish Cultural Center because my great-grandfather, John Cody, came here with Thomas Cody, his father, in the early 1800s from Ireland. I'm mainly being honored here tonight for my work with the Town of Paris Historical Society, where I've been involved since 1995. I just like helping others, and it feels natural to help them and to do my part when I notice something that needs to be done. From my early childhood, I worked in my parents' diner, Jenny's Diner, Route 20, Bridgewater, New York, and enjoyed meeting many people, wonderful community we had. So I like working with others. This led to my participating in many other organizations over the decades. Mohawk Valley Christian Women's Club, the church as a Sunday school teacher, and serving in other roles in the church. In school, PTO, Cub Scouts, Brownies, the American Cancer Society, the March of Dimes, the Sarah Ann Wood Rescue Center, and others. So I care about my community. Now, I first became involved with the Town of Paris Historical Society when my late husband, Buzz Elmer, retired. And I said, "You need to find something to do." So we became very involved in the Historical Society. And then one day we found a box of 80 letters unanswered from people around the country asking about their ancestors in the Town of Paris. We knew that we needed to answer these letters as some of the requests had been packed in boxes for a few years. And so it began with my friend Polly Blanc and I, and we did some research, and we answered those 80 letters. And that's what started our genealogy research. About this time, the Historical Society's president, Edna Townsend, who was like a mother to me and a very dear friend, asked me if I would serve as the next president of our Historical Society. I thought, well, I guess I could handle this role. I had been chairing Mohawk Valley Christian Women's Club at the time, and we had at least 70 women every month as regular attendees. So I thought, well, this little group, there's 9 or 10 members that come to the monthly meeting, so I could handle it. I have enjoyed my nearly 30 years with the Town of Paris Historical Society. People want to know about their family history, their communities, where their ancestors lived, how they lived. I believe it's important to preserve these memories and to help these families share these stories, pass it on to your children. Over the years, our Historical Society has received hundreds of requests to help families with their search. We have even had the opportunity to reunite some families. So many people have reached out to thank us for the research our society does and the newsletters we send out. And the surprise on people's faces when they see the information we have and how much more we can find. One gentleman said, "Where did you get all this material?" And much of it was in the society when we came in. He said, "There's more here than in the Rhode Island Historical Society and his family." So we appreciate that. We love finding a piece of the puzzle and solving a mystery that can help people in some way. And when people read our newsletter and hear stories of the past about the Millard family and their agricultural tool factory that made sabers during the Civil War to support the Union cause, or about the Sequoia train wreck, or about Ella Yappel, who shared her memories of growing up in Clayville during the 1920s and 30s. And she lived in one of the 7 sisters' mill houses with a melting pot of families, French, Canadian, German, Irish, Polish, and Welsh. It was the depths of the Great Depression. And she reminisced about children playing games and listening to Mr. Shahansky play his Polish polkas on his concertina out on the balcony in the evening, and where Ella played her guitar on the porch. It all became very personal. So I thank you everyone for coming here tonight, Joe and Lou and the History Center, the Irish Cultural Center, my family, my daughter and son-in-law who came in from Nashville, my friends from the Historical Society, those in Clayville and Sequoia. I thank you for this honor. It is a joy to serve, and I know that each of you serve in some capacity. Thank you.
I was going along fine. Until COVID just socked me nilly. So then I lost a lot of energy. I was in the hospital for 15 days. For 8 of those days, I was on a ventilator. I was on a ventilator for 8 days. My wife would call into the hospital and they said, "Well, he's in a condition where you can't talk to him." And she'd say, "I don't care, just put the phone up to his ear." And it says, okay. Then she told the nurse, "Now hold his hand." And then she said to me, I was in a coma, she said, "Squeeze the nurse's hand if you love me." And I started squeezing his hand. I don't remember any of this. You know what I mean? So I only said that to say there is a spirit level of knowledge and wisdom and insight and communication that goes way beyond academia. This is what I was trying to bring to academia all the time. I'm saying all the school books are fine, but knowledge was circulating amongst people before there was a textbook. And it still is after the textbook. And the textbook is cool to have a place of reference, but it ain't the end all. So if there's anything that can represent that, it's music. Would you flip that on for me, Chris? So now, I want to play something for you, because when I finish playing, I'm going to talk to you about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay? So I'm going to play a little something. Let's see, which one of these? Is this the bass, Chris? Yeah, the bass. Okay? Yeah, that's it, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, so now, I'm gonna play a little something for you. And it's gonna be two things. It's gonna be a double entendre from a sonic form. Because sometimes when I tell a joke, it's a double entendre. But this one is a double entendre because my voice is the sound of my spirit trying to be happy. But I'm doubling it with the instrument so that you can see it's part of a delivery system of musicality. So here we go. We're gonna say, because I knew I had a skill I could bring to immediate manifestation. That's the thing that music is supposed to be teaching us. Can you do something that's connected to immediate manifestation? It doesn't take 100 years for it to manifest. You see what I'm saying? Now, the other thing is, I wanted to play something for you, and I did not want to be careful. And I did not concern myself with if I was playing, whether it was perfect or not. I only cared that it was spirited. It didn't have to be perfect. It only had to be excellent. You see what I'm saying? Okay. People ask me, did you know what note you were going to play? I have no idea. All I knew was, oh, what's the name of the tune? My favorite things. Okay, what's the tempo? Medium swing. What's the meter? 4/4 time. And what's the chord changes? That's how much I knew. After the rest of that, I wiggled all of that through my system of teaching improvisation, and I'll tell you a little bit about how it works. That is, you come up with a menu list. So when you go to a restaurant to get an omelet, you order off the list what you want in the omelet. You want some bacon, and you want some paprika, and you want some salt, pepper, and you want some chopped peppers, you know, and you might want a little ham in there, and little tomatoes. Okay, so you order all the items. So if I figure out one item, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 1. C minor. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, then I'm gonna go 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 2. Right? And such and so forth, right? So then, okay, then I'm gonna back it around, turn it. Okay? And then I'm saying, okay, now, what would happen if I put 5 menu items on the floor? And I spun them differently, and then what would happen if each one of these items was able to mutate into the next one insolubly, almost imperceptibly. And it turns from an etude into a very artistic expression very easily. Watch, blues in C minor with menu items. Stay boo 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 here boo da and daddy da boo 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 here boo baby. Ba boo boo baby da boo 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 da boo boo baby da boo boo baby boo. Stand do ba boo ya ba do do da boo baby ba baby do ba boo ba boo baby da boo da boo. Right? Y'all feeling me? Okay. So now, after I get that going, then I say to myself, well, let's just keep working. Let's just put that on the floor and let's keep working with it. And then eventually, here's what all the jazz musicians are trying to do. What if you allowed, I was playing my bass one day and I was making some pretty nice riffs, and I thought to myself, hey man, I'm playing the bass up here. It sounds pretty good. And then I heard a voice that said, are you playing the bass? And I said, well, I think I am. He said, I'm playing the music pretty good, okay? And then I heard a voice say, what if the music was playing you? This is a big part of my teaching, and no one has codified this yet. So I said to myself, what if you could so give yourself to your craft until you had so emerged who you are, you had humbled your spirit to such a degree till you could bond with your craft, until you let the craft overtake your stream of consciousness, till it played whatever it wanted and your fingers complied. Y'all do what I'm saying? Okay, now here's where life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is at the core of this. Every adult person with normal or above cognizance wants to be happy. But first they gotta have life. And you can't take that life away. You can't murder, you can't bomb, you can't poison people, you can't do that. Then they have no physical life. They have nothing to fight for. They have nothing to live for. Okay? Then it says life and it says liberty. Because a person whose mind or spirit is in bondage, they can't really pursue liberty. And you gotta have liberty before you can have the higher realms of thought. And the higher realms of thought allow you to pass into other secret realms. And these secret realms are so cool, it's so stupid hip. So I'm gonna just tell you this so that you get the idea. How many people say there's such a thing as truth? If you look in Webster's dictionary, will you find a definition for truth? Of course you will. Okay, but you can't hold it. You can't touch it. You can't smell it. It don't weigh 12 pounds. It isn't green or orange or purple. So therefore, it's not a physical commodity. But what happens is truth is its own entity and it exists in its own realm. Okay? Because there has to be enough of it for all 8 billion of us. And it can't be something that's weak enough to be destroyed with the manipulations of man. So it has to be above the manipulations of man. So if you're going to sell me a watch for $300, and I examine the watch and it's nothing wrong with it and everything works, I give you the $300, you give me the watch. Okay? Then we've been truthful to each other. Truth from its realm where it exists as an independent entity then signs off and allows us to realize we've been truthful to each other. Then more truth comes into the realm where cognizant people can use it effectively. That's the same thing true with everything that gives us the greatest enjoyments in our life. Truth, peace, joy, wisdom. These things cannot be codified in a book, nor can they be taught perfectly in an academic scenario, but they can be passed on heart to heart, mind to mind. If we live in a society that allows us, with all of our heart, all of our might, all of our skills, to pursue our happiness. Last 30 seconds. And this is what it sounds like. This is my pursuit of happiness. Let's go. Okay, all right.
How about a big round of applause for our 2024 Living Legends and Hall of Famers? Will you all stand up and take a bow, please? Bonnie, Lucretia, Doc, Mike, Doctor. There they are, ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2024.